Hey, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making some super quick or easy dishes. I'm making two soups and a quick bread. I'm going to be using leftovers from the fridge, some old wilted vegetables. I got a little chunk of squash, some zucchini that have seen better days. I got a part of a pepper here that I've been using, some old scallions, green onions, and a chunk of cabbage here. So I'm going to be using those to make a vegetable soup. I live in the East Coast of Canada here, and clam harvesting season just recently opened up. So I scored myself some nice quahogs there recently. And I'm going to make a quick clam chowder. So I'm making two soups and a quick bread. Now this bread is super simple. There's not even any rising time, anything like that. We're just going to quickly put it together, and that's what I'm going to start with. So first, grab myself a bowl here, and I got my flour. It's probably put a cup and a half to 2 cups of flour there. You don't need to get too specific. I'm going to grab my yeast. I'll put yeast, probably a little more than a teaspoon in there. I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to that. And I'm going to do a little, like a quick, super quick proofing of this. Now, bear with me. Just going to grab some water. Okay, so I got some water, yeast, and sugar. It's just going to, I'm going to let the yeast hydrate there for a minute. But nothing, I'm not going to wait too long. We're just going to put this together pretty quickly. Now, into my flour here, I'm going to add a nice pinch of salt. There we go. And then I'm going to go right in with my yeast water here. Now we're looking for kind of a loose dough here. We're not going for like a tight dough, like a bread dough, anything firm or anything like that. It's just going to be kind of a loose, gooey dough. That's right about what I'm looking for there. That's pretty good. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to get a nice heavy bottom pan here, warming up. Get that going. Give this a quick stir. There we go. That's pretty much it for that. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute. And next thing, I'm going to get my pots here. I got 2 pots because I'm making 2 soups. And I'm just going to start them warming up. There we go. There, about a little bit of kind of like a medium heat. And what I'm going to do with those is start with potatoes. Here, I'll grab my cutting board here and a knife. I got my potatoes cleaned up. I'm going to leave the skins on. You can peel them if you want, but I'm just going to cut these into fairly small cubes, something like a 1/2 inch or so, and just sort of quickly chop these up. Oop. There we go. This is not the best way to chop them. It's like my first time here. Okay. Flat side down, dude. Flat side down. There we go. Chop. There. Now, as my pans are heating up, I'm going to add a little bit of oil. bit of oil to each one. And what I'm getting at here is that I want to throw my potatoes in first to get them started cooking, because this is, like I said, it's going to be a quick soup. So it's just a matter of putting things together. By the time everything's assembled, we're pretty much ready to eat. Another thing I have here is I have a couple of containers of my homemade vegetable stock. That's, if you've watched my other videos, I save all my trimmings from all my vegetables and throw them in baggies in the freezer. And eventually, probably about like once a week or 2 weeks, whatever it is, every so often, I throw it all into a big pot, cover it with water, and make myself some veg stock. And I use it all the time. It's great. The other thing, just while we're waiting here, these are my quahogs. Some pretty nice looking ones here. And what I'm going to do is, I'm not shucking them for this recipe, but I've cleaned them up, gave them a nice wipe down. Just make sure to get rid of any dirt and grime and seaweed, bits of sand, anything like that. Give them a nice wash, because these are going to be going into my soup whole, shell and all. So these are sitting in ice here. I just got a few handful of ice cubes in there just to keep them nice and cool and fresh. But yeah, I'm just going to take one here. And with quahogs, one side is super tight. It comes down to a point. But the other side, you can see a bit of an edge there where you can just get a knife in. And then all you do is just kind of very carefully, don't cut yourself. You just work that knife through until you get it open. Boom, look at that. Beautiful. Nice, fresh quahog, fresh from the ocean. Love it. And I like to eat these raw. That's good. But I digress, because that's not what we're doing here today. I just wanted to show you how I do that. So now my pots are getting hot. I'm going to throw half of these potatoes in one and half in the other. All right, I just want to get those started. Next thing I'm going to do is start chopping up my other vegetables here. So I'm going to take the seeds out of my pepper, throw that aside, take out as much of the white pith as possible. It's got a little bit of a bitter flavor. And as I said, these are all just leftover bits of vegetable. They're not primo fresh. They're a little bit on the wilted side, seeing better days. But for this purpose, it's perfectly fine. After the soup is made, all the flavor is still in there. But you'd never know that these weren't fresh vegetables. Nice, small, bite-sized, soup-sized pieces. Here I have a wilted, rubbery zucchini. Just going to trim the ends off and give it a nice little slice. With some bite-sized pieces. You don't have to be too fancy with it. Just if it fits in a spoon, it'll work. And here's another zucchini that has seen better days. And I'm just going to slice it into some rough bite-sized pieces. There we go. Excellent. So that's that. Now I'm going to throw these into those going in my vegetable soup pan. Just going to check, make sure everything's doing all right. Already getting a little color on those potatoes there. Okay, now I'm going to clean out this little chunk of squash that I have here. Take the top off. There we go. A little Should have a spoon. Scrape these seeds out. There we go. It'll take off the skin. There we go. And yeah, the idea behind this soup is twofold. Basically, using up any leftovers that you have in your fridge, and also it's a delicious and nutritious soup. Really satisfying. And you don't need to use stock in this. You can just use water, and it turns out excellent, just like that. All right, that's going in. Now for my scallions, just going to peel off the outside tougher layer here. And again, all these trimmings are going to be going back into the stockpile. Take off the tough outer layer. There we go. Trim the ends. Just the wilted stuff. Give that a quick coarse chop here. Goes right into the veggies. Make sure everything's doing all right. Oh, beautiful color in there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just looking gorgeous. So with that, I'm going to add one of my containers of vegetable stock to my vegetable soup. The thing I'm going to do is just take a little bit of this cabbage. Just going to take a couple slices here. That's plenty. And just run my knife through it real quick, just so it's not too big of pieces, not too inconvenient to eat. And I'm going to throw that in with my veggies. There. Now, other than seasoning, that vegetable soup is pretty much done. It's just going to sit there. It's going to come to a boil. Now, next thing I'm going to do, I got a shallot and a clove of garlic here. Now we're focusing on the clam chowder. So, I don't know for sure if you'd call this a chowder. Maybe it's just a clam soup. I don't know exactly what constitutes a chowder. But I think this would fall into that category. Just taking the peels off my shallot here. And we're just going to give that a nice little chop. Somewhat fine. Nice. And this is going to go, so that side, this is going to go in with my potatoes here. And next, garlic, which I already have peeled. I just happen to have this clove of garlic peeled and ready to go. Run my knife through it real quick. Okay. So we're going to give those shallots a quick second there, just to start to cook. A little bit translucent. Now, what I normally do with my clam chowder, ooh, I almost forgot about my bread here. What I normally do with the chowder is use white wine. In this case, today I'm going to be using veg stock. So I'm going to throw my garlic in there. Garlic is in. Now we're going to get onto this bread. I'm going to put a little splash of oil in my pan. I got a nice heavy bottom cast iron here. It's always good to have a heavy bottom pan, keep things from burning too much. And I'm just going to put my dough right in there. And I'm just going to spread it around, fill up the pan. And there we go. Set that aside. As you can see, my potatoes are getting a little bit of color. My shallots are cooking down. My soup here is looking good. I'm gonna grab a spoon here. Beautiful. Look at those colors in there. There. Now at this point, I think it'd be safe to add some salt. And I'm going to ground up some pepper. But right now my bread is cooking. My potatoes are almost done. So I'm just going to throw my clams are going right in. Just like that. Now that my clams are in there, this is where I would often use white wine, but in this case, I'm using my vegetable stock. Put that in there, and I'm going to crank the heat right up. I want to bring it right back to a boil as quickly as possible. Okay, so the magic is happening. Just going to tidy up here a little bit. Okay, so my bread is cooking. I want that on kind of about a medium heat. I got my clams going full blast. They're going to be coming to a boil here soon. You want them when the clams open up. That's when you're pretty much done. And my vegetable soup, I'm going to turn it up as well. Bring it up to a boil. And when these come to a boil, again, they're pretty much done. So what's going to happen here? Once that's boiled, my clams are open. Then I'm going to hit it with some heavy cream and some salt and pepper, and that's pretty much it. So right now, I'm going to grind up some black pepper. Nice. It's fresh ground black pepper. And I'm going to put a nice pinch in my clam chowder and a nice pinch in my vegetable soup. So I'm going to get a little more salt ready here. That is looking and smelling marvelous. And I'm going to add a little more garlic to my clam chowder. I just like it garlicky, so I find the seafood and garlic match made in heaven. So a little more garlic in there. And just check things out here. The clams are just starting to open up. Yep, they're all popping open. Looking happy as a clam. Now my bread, it's nice and brown on one side. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Give that a flip. That's that. That's going to be done in just a minute. So now that my clams are all opening up, I am going to turn the heat right off. And I just kind of thought of this now, but what I'm going to do, I have a couple of pieces, since I'm using up leftovers here, I have a couple of pieces of prosciutto. You can use bacon or speck or whatever you want, but I'm going to add a little bit of prosciutto to my clam chowder. I'm just going to chop it up. Some nice little chunks here. That's going to go right in. That's going to add a little bit of some salty, porky. It's not smoked like speck or bacon, but it'll still add some of that similar component. All right, that is looking amazing. Now, throw a splash of cream in there. There we go. That's going to cool it down, sort of slow down the cooking process as well. Now, I'm not thickening this. A lot of people thicken their chowders and stuff. It's not, I don't feel it's necessary, as long as it's seasoned properly. And turn the heat off on that. My vegetable soup here is coming to a boil. Looks awesome. So, at this point, I'm going to grab, get some garnishes right here. I've got a nice little handful of chives. Again, these have seen better days. Some of them are not so great. There we go. Just take off some of those wilted ends there on either side. There we go. Give it a kind of a coarse chop. And that'll go in my clam chowder. I'm also going to get a little bit of parsley going here. Oh. I got curly leaf parsley here. Often I'll use flat leaf is more of my go-to, but this is just what I have. So this is what's going to work for today. Plus, I like the flavor of curly. It's got a really nice, very pungent flavor. So it's great. Nice and green and crisp, fresh. So there we go. Got some parsley ready there. Set these aside. All right, that's good. Lovely. Take a quick peek at the underside of my bread here. Perfect. Oh, there we go. Nice. So, put my bread right on there. I'll grab a ladle here. Get some nice clams in there. Got, oh yeah, that is good eating right there. It smells amazing. There we go. And I'll grab a different ladle for this one. And here's my vegetable soup. The color on that is just off the hook. Now, get a little taste here. Make sure everything's seasoned. That needs a little bit of salt. Tiny bit of pepper, not too much. I'll grab another spoon. Give my chowder a taste here. Ooh. That's spot on, just like that. All right. Now I'll put my garnish on there, a little bit of fresh parsley. Fresh parsley on both. And take my knife. For the sake of not ruining my knife. This here. Oh yeah. There we go. Some hot, fresh bread. And 2 different kinds of soup. What an excellent meal for a rainy day. Today is a rainy day, and this is just going to hit the spot so nicely. And there you have it. That's a perfect cold rainy day meal, and it's absolutely delicious. Super quick, no rising time for the bread, nothing fancy for the soup. Just whack it all together, bring it to a boil, and then enjoy. Might put a couple little Parmesan petals on there. And bon appetit.